Bishop Academy Books. Presenting The Children's Encyclopedia by Arthur May.
The man goes into the forest in search of food. One day, his family is hungry. He goes out into the forest with his cudgel and looks for prey. A rabbit starts up under his feet. A blow of the stick and the rabbit is dead. He remembers a place in the forest where rabbits came out after sunset and just before dawn. He goes with his cudgel, hides, and waits. No longer need his family fear for food. The cudgel does something else for him. It enables this feeble and defenseless creature to leave the woods and adventure himself more boldly in the open. He is himself now a hunter. He can creep up behind a sleeping animal and kill it with his club. He can throw a stone so accurately no bird within 40 yards is safe from him. He wanders farther and farther afield and comes presently to a broad river. He sits down to observe this mighty flow of water. In a pool he sees fish and studies them. These, too, are not to be taken for granted. These large, legless things which move in water like a flash of light, not merely as the buffalo or the hippopotamus looks at fish does man look at them. In the midst of his observation, a bough of a tree comes swirling down the river. He watches it with curious eyes. That, too, can move in the water like fish. But this tree does not move under the water, it moves on the water. He watches it intently. Suddenly, it is caught by the branch of an overhanging tree and prevented from moving. A bird flies up the river, sees the log, and perches on it. Slowly there comes into the mind of man an idea which is destined in far-off centuries to revolutionize human life. If he stood on that tree, where would it take him? If he rode upon it, kicking his legs, could he make it bear him across the river? On his way home, he thinks of riding logs of wood over great rivers, and tells himself strange stories of adventures on the other side of those flowing waters. Presently he passes a cave in the hillside. He peers into it. Nothing in there. He enters. It is warm. Nothing could attack him from inside. Only the entrance would need to be guarded. Why should he live forever in the forest? One day he's sitting at the mouth of this cave when he notices little sprouts of green in the earth. He picks up the soil with his fingers and discovers at the end of each sprout a seed, which he himself has flung away after eating berries and fruit. He notices that some of the sprouts are strong and others weak. They are strong where the ground is open, and weak where they've fallen among thorns. He begins to observe the earth with attention. The acorn which drops from the trees is not only food for swine, it grows into a little tree. The grain he loves to chew as he walks falls into the earth and comes up again as a plant. He collects handfuls of their golden grains and carries them back to his cave. He breaks down the brambles, sharpens a stick to loosen the roots, pulls them up from the ground, and plants his seed. On another day he comes upon a pile of bones at the foot of a hill. A number of wolf-like creatures start away from them, and he approaches, growling as they go. How did they come there, all those bones? And he stands watching. A buffalo comes turning over and over through the air from the top of the hill. It crashes among the bones and lies still. At the same moment, a wolf-like creature appears, breathless, at the top of the hill, looking down. The man climbs up the hill. He watches. One day he sees a buffalo chased by these wolves across the open, headed for the precipice. He says to himself, I need not go hunting for animals. I need not fight with them. He becomes a trapper. His wife flings meat to some of the creatures about his cave. The smallest of them become friendly. In wintertime, they come to the mouth of the cave. Presently, they take meat from her hand. The man thinks to himself, "Why should not these things hunt for me?" The hillside becomes his trap, and the wolf becomes his dog. His needs multiply with his victories over nature. He wants something more than a stick for breaking the earth to receive his seed. He wants something more than his 2 hands for dragging home his loads. He wants something more than a log for crossing the rivers. How is he to get those things? Is there in all nature such a thing as a steam plow, a railway engine, a steamship? No, but in his own mind there is the idea of a spade, a wheel, and a boat. He has invented a crude language. He can tell others what is in his mind. They are all agreed to call a tree, a bear, water, water, wind, and wheat, wheat. They have names for themselves. One is father, another mother, the child is son, and that daughter. When a fire rages through the forest, they call it fire. They can speak to each other of fire. They notice that 2 flints struck sharply together produce the same thing on a tiny scale, fire. They have observed that fire eats up dried things quicker than damp things. They make a heap of twigs and dead leaves. They strike flints against it, and presently it burns. A vegetable root which has got into this fire smells good. They taste it and like it. They fling flesh into the fire and taste that. It is good. Animals are afraid of fire. Very well, he will light fires at night, and that will keep tigers away from him. All this movement away from instinct is the work of observation. Man is unafraid of the universe. So far, he's only a hunter seeking power over his prey. He has never lifted his eyes from the earth. He's like the rest of the animal kingdom, except in this, that with him instinct is not enough. Superstition is yet to come. Death is not yet either a tragedy or mystery. The great journey of man is begun.